Hey everyone, I'm Matthias. I'm a lead game designer on the Desolation project, and today I will answer some questions that you posted on Discord and our community channels. And yeah, I'm excited to get into it, and I hope that I give you satisfying answers. And yeah, let's get going. And this is not something we have planned for at the moment. So we do plan to add a token. We are still, talking about all of the details, so I won't, tell all of that right now. But yes, there will be ways to earn tokens at some point, and there are going to be mechanics that influence, how you can get them, how easy you can get them, that adjust like the drop chances for them, and that even controls like the overall amount that is like in these reward pools. And so we have a lot of things planned here. So I will keep you posted, but that's all for today. So yeah, the current iteration of the weapons is definitely far from the final iteration of it, right? So even this shotgun, the Spartan 12G TR, it will get like new perks that make it even stronger. For example, like this would be like the firefight perk. So you kill an enemy with the shotgun, and then a new thermal projectile will spawn, flying towards an enemy, dealing more thermal damage. So yeah, this weapon will only get stronger from here on out. Um, and that said, what we try to do obviously is there should be a balance between like rarities, right? So this shotgun, this epic shotgun, probably will never be stronger than, let's say, a legendary shotgun, or at least that's what we hope to do, right? But what we want also is that this shotgun will be probably stronger than a normal digital item that's not an NFT, right? Of the same rarity. Also, these weapons are always unique in one way or the other, right? They will have some unique looks, they will have some unique perks, they will have unique weapon parts, and so on, right? That make them valuable just because it's a unique combination of elements. But that said, and this is basically not really relating just to the Spartan shotgun, but to all of the NFTs that we have sold right now. In the future, we want to give you a way in how you can basically kind of trade in something, an NFT that you're not as happy with anymore or you don't require, and get value out of it, and then basically exchange it into a new item. At the moment, we call them transformers. So you can basically burn an NFT, and then you will get resources out of it, and one of the resources would be this transformer NFT. And now you can take the transformer and create a new NFT out of it. So, for example, maybe you found a new shotgun that you like even more because the perks just fit better to your playstyle. And then you can basically you fully upgrade that shotgun, and then once you're ready, you can basically exchange this Spartan 12G. You get the transformer token out of it and can use it to then craft your new NFT weapon. And so this is a way in how we want to guarantee that whatever the items you have bought, there will always be like at least a minimum value, because these transformer tokens that you can get out of them, they will be actually quite limited, right? We want to make sure that there's not thousands and thousands of like different shotguns, for example. We want to limit that specifically. Um, so it, and the best way to get these transformers will probably be to burn an existing NFT and then create a new out of that. So at least this is one of our ways in how we want to really make sure that you feel comfortable with every purchase that you have made, and are safe even in the future, right? There's always going to be that certain value for it. Yeah. So yeah, the once we are able to basically mint items, create NFTs in the game, everything will be quite different. At this stage, we added quite a few, like these rewards are easy to get, right? These digital rewards even, but this was never like the intention for the final game, right? In the final game, yes, earning these, finding these digital items like weapons and stuff will be able for all of the users in general. But to basically get them to a completed stage where they like fully upgraded, and then you can create an NFT out of it, that is always meant to be a long journey, right? You have to play with that weapon quite a long time to farm the XP. Then you have to find all of these rare resources that will be coming that are not as easy to get, right? You have to play the hardest content, be a bit lucky, and get it through that. And then additionally, right, there's going to be a limit on how many of these can even be created. So this is in general quite different. And even let's say low rarity weapons might be easy to get, but as we get to like higher rarity items, that's going to be harder and harder to do, right? And so there's always going to be a lot of work involved in that. But the cool thing is, since there's going to be a lot of randomization included with a lot of different weapon parts, weapon perks, and stuff like that, there are going to be so many different variations of weapons that can be created and then even turned into NFTs, right? And this last step to turn them into an NFT, that is like the most, like the hardest one, but then also it will make the weapon the most powerful version of it, right? And there are going to be ways on how you can even adjust NFTs that you have created later on and change them into something else. For example, if there's like new perks added for this kind of weapon. So this is definitely like still very much an ongoing process, right? But let's say there's going to be a lot of ways in how even the weapons that you have right now will be changed a bit in the future, right? So yeah. Yeah. So the infected heart. This was the first sale that we did, and initially we even thought about making more of these sales to grant users access to the game. But as we listened to the community, we understood that we apparently did not communicate that well enough. So we made the decision to not sell them anymore, right? So basically, the items that you have, makes them a lot more valuable, right? We are not going to sell like hundreds more of them or something like that. Um, because we are very happy for your investment and to the founders who basically gave us this trust already this early on. So we don't want to make anything that makes you distrust us in that way or whatever. So our goal is definitely to do something with this maybe in the future, because it is a very interesting item, and also very it has a unique perk and those kind of elements. It's a cool exa module, but if we do something with it, it's going to be not something that is like sold, and it's going to be very sparingly given out maybe. But again, this is very open. We are listening to your feedback, but we definitely want to keep the value of these infected hearts high and keep them very, very rare in the game. Yeah. Yes, that is absolutely the plan. So we are basically in a very early stage of the game, right? At the moment, yes, we have matchmaking, but there's no way to basically interact with other players. But the goal is definitely to make this game a very social experience. This means, yes, there's going to be chat, there's going to be clans, and there's also going to be a big social hub where you can meet other players, interact with them, join the parties, compare gear, those kind of elements. And there's actually going to be two types of these social spaces. One will be the player ship. This is your personal space, which you will be able to customize later on. But other players can also join. But this is then basically for you and your team. And so team members can come to your ship. And at some point, you might have even unlocked some cool stuff that they don't have access to yet. But if they come to your ship, they can use it. And so it's kind of a fun thing to discover like all of the player ships of your other team members, clan members, and those kind of elements. So this is like the small social space, right? This is mostly like your personal space. But there's going to be a big social area. It's like a space station, right? Where there's like trading going on. So there's going to be vendors, quest givers, and a lots of random people that you can just meet, right? You don't have to join the teams or something. They will just be there. So this is going to be a big thing. And we definitely want to go a lot more into this, like, let's say MMO-like experience, right? Where it's more about, it's not just you, it's like a whole war. Everybody's fighting that war, and so the space station will be a big part of that. Yes, that's what we have planned. So there will be a token in the game. The idea is probably quite similar to like how Big Time does it. So there will be a way to earn these kind of tokens and then to use them mostly like to mint your gear, re-roll your NFTs, make them a bit stronger. Those kind of like high level, high end gameplay features will require these kind of tokens. The amounts will be quite limited how you can get them, and so basically it's completely like an endgame mechanic, very much intertwined with the most relevant Web3 features. We even have a end game that is specifically like dedicated to these kinds of rewards, and even like some other cool unique ways that you might not imagine yet how you can get these tokens then as well. So we totally believe in this, like we do believe in this token economy that is then even like user owned, user traded. But at the moment, it's just a bit too early to talk too much about it. But yes, there will be a way to farm tokens in our game as well. So yeah, with the next update, we will already introduce our first like leaderboard seasons, right? So every season there will be two leaderboards, one for dungeons, one for like the survival kind of game modes, and each of them will give out rewards, and each of them will come with like specific cool like modifiers specific to that season, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, you kill an enemy and it will explode and do some other crazy stuff, or there's a chance to regenerate your skills quicker, or those kind of elements, right? So these should kind of shake up the existing content. So these are specific like new challenges for you to beat and get rewards for that. So this will already be coming with the next season, but going forward, like we are thinking a lot about more ways to basically engage the community, right? With interesting challenges. There's probably going to be like these weekly challenges, daily challenges, those kind of elements. As a company, we are also big fans of these kind of, world's first races. So when a new dungeon launches, who you can complete it the first time or something like that, or at least like the fastest. So there's even going to be like endgame activities that are more like, they have their own like separate long-term leaderboard kind of thingy. And so there's a lot of stuff that we want to do. But for now, we start with these two leaderboard seasons, and then more might follow soon enough. So actually, we have already now started doing those. So maybe this question is already a bit outdated, but during these lunar festivities, we already gave out a few of them, and we will do even more as they're coming up through Twitch streams and other in-game events. So keep an eye on Discord or on our website. We will announce those kind of possibilities. But yes, we will definitely strive for more of these kind of airdrop events going, in the future. So Stratosphere is working on multiple games at once, right? And some of the people in the company are working on multiple projects. So whenever the need arises, they can switch from one project to another. But that said, like probably we'll have like 15 to 20 people that are like dedicated mostly on Desolation. And this number is switching, but even the last few months we kind of stocked up. We added more people to this team as production is really ramping up. There might be even a chance that we add even more team members to that. But yeah, obviously at the moment we are even adding like a lot of senior talent that have worked on very interesting products. We have obviously a lot of people that work on Stratosphere games where they did something like Homeworld Mobile and those kind of elements. But even now we have people that work on like big AAA games like Hogwarts Legacy. So we are constantly expanding the team, adding more people to it, especially when we feel like now we are ready to really scale up the production of it. But yeah, that's where we are at the moment. The crafting system is not really like we have not yet started work properly on it, but we have done a lot of like preparation for it because crafting requires all of the base systems to be in place before, right? So this means what we did now is like we started to add perks, we added to add passive stat modifiers. Next up would be like the weapon parts, so they are properly introduced, right? Because part of the crafting is also the random modular generation of these kind of weapons and drones and those kind of elements, right? So as you craft a weapon, there's going to be a lot of different possible outcomes that you can have. So we are working on like these base systems, but then very, very soon, once those are done, we start to move into crafting, right? And probably when we start out with crafting, it's going to be more like maybe even like we start out with skins because that's easier to do first, right? Not everything has to be in place. But then later on, yes, you will be able to craft all kinds of weapons with exciting like perks that you can unlock. There might all even be some ways where you can influence the outcome of those crafting. Obviously, like investing a bit more resources for higher chance for higher rarities, or even like once you have made some progress, even pick some specific perks. But it's always probably going to include a lot of randomization, especially for items that are really about like power. But for skins, for example, this will be always like the a defined output, obviously. But yeah, it won't take too long until we probably will talk even a bit more detailed about the crafting system, because it's definitely in our like near future. Yeah. So, timeframes in games development are always a bit tricky because we shift our resources from one feature. It's not that we always like follow one strict plan, right? For example, we moved seasons up now, which we intended to do a lot later because of community feedback. That said, I mean, our general idea is the game is done when it's done, right? So we want to definitely be able to deliver a good quality when we say like, okay, we are going to move in open beta and so on. And so some of the features are actually progressing quite nicely, and we're happy with it. But there's a lot of stuff still to do, and so it's also about figuring out what is actually the version where we feel comfortable with calling it an open beta. That said, as we are also scaling up our development team, and as we are as we have set up now the base features, it's now more about adding like as well content to it. So there's still like a definite possibility that we will launch in summer or so with an open beta. That said, it's really important for us that the quality is right at that moment. And but we will let you know, right, if stuff changes. At the moment, it's still very much possible. So one of the first steps that we did was like adding these leaderboard seasons that are coming up. So this will be a definitive and the first way to properly like earn NFTs in the game. As mentioned, yes, there's going to be crafting possibilities and those kind of elements. We are also in general thinking about more ways that are always like probably tied to some specific challenges, right? Some community events that we can do. Even like these end game activities might be another way to earn these in in a very specific time frame, for example. So event based. Yes, I mean we also started doing these airdrops, right? So if you own already any of the NFTs, you have a chance to earn even more NFTs at this moment. But in general, yes, we are always open for like more ideas or what you guys like, right? But yeah, there will be a lot of more ways to earn NFTs in the future. Yeah. So the set bonuses, what we want to do is obviously we want to create a set bonus that is really valuable to the people who have invested this early, right? We really appreciate everyone who got one of these founder items, and so we definitely want to make sure that whatever then the founder set bonus is going to be is definitely valuable for you guys. And at the moment, it's definitely like what we want to do is help you basically get these valuable resources that you need to create NFTs later on, right? So this will be able to speed up that process for you. And this founder set bonus will always stay exclusive to exactly these founder items. So we will not add this type of thing to any of the other items. This is definitely exclusive for like these founder sets. So yeah, it's gonna take a bit of time still, right? But once the open beta is live, definitely also we will have the set bonuses live, and you will have your Founders Fortune set bonus active at that time, because this is also the time frame when we get really serious about you being able to earn these NFTs, create your own NFTs basically with your predetermined like perks and stats and those kind of things. So yes, we will make sure that you're going to be happy with your founder set bonus at that point. So yeah, at this stage of development, right, we are focusing more on just gameplay features, and we want to put stuff out quickly to get your feedback. So we haven't even really started to touching the lore of the game, right? We have actually laid out a very interesting campaign for you to experience with a lot of like turns and twists that are cool, and they will basically lead into a new end game kind of thing, right? And this is then I think this would be the basis for the whole lore, but then that's when the community comes in, right? In our vision, it's basically we just give you the basic of this universe, and then you will be interacting with it, and then I think this is where we want to do this like community driven even storytelling maybe at some point, right, where it's like special events that can maybe shape even the future of the game and those kind of elements. In general, we always appreciate feedback about it. So yes, we are thinking about even more methods to put in the feedback that you give us or ideas that you give us. But at the same time, we are just also excited to basically give you that story at some point in the future where you can kind of experience, because a lot of the things might not be as simple as you imagine them to be. But yeah, you have to play the campaign to know what I'm talking about. So we are still figuring out, the best way to serve our audience in this way. Where yes, we definitely want to offer you more ways to get into the game or to buy or to support us even. Next up would be a loot box sale, right? Where there's different price points, but again, out of that, a lot of new items will be coming to the marketplace that you can then get. So the breadth of content is definitely increasing and ways to get into the game early. That said, right, even in the future, there are going to be a lot more ways to get into the game. There's going to be an open beta where even more players will be able to join. So yeah, our goal is definitely that everybody will be able to enjoy the Desolation. And so yeah, in the future, there's even a lot more different ways in how people can join. All right, it looks like we're at the end of this session. So yeah, thanks a lot to everybody who gave us these questions. I hope I answered them in a satisfying way. And I also look already forward to the next session where we do this again with new questions, probably after the update. So you have a lot of new questions to ask for. So until then, good hunting, mercenaries.